relate. I mean, no matter when it happens.
Down they go to Tony. Going to end it with a dunk. Well, Fayetteville is 1,843 miles away.
And pushing across from left to right. He steals the bag. Wow. He steals home.
Kurt Wilson, while Nixon was on the mound looking down, has stolen home to win the ball game.
8 seconds for Lowry to work with. Pounded by Irving, stolen by Drummond. Drummond coast to coast with the throwdown. Did he chuck a deuce on the way to the basket?
Even Steve Nash is smiling at this one. Oh, big man, shoot the gas.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Taproom Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jordan. Stacks on Stacks on Stacks. Last year, as always, with my man, Mr. Big Ballin' Ben Larson. What's going on tonight, Ben?
Not much, man. Just watched my Cardinals take the dub, going to the Final Four in the women's.
True.
Thank God, at least one of our teams are playing well. But had to sport, and yeah. Other than that, great weekend. We got some rain here in the Bay, which is definitely needed, and got a couple good beers that I'm stoked about tonight.
Hell yeah,
How you
man.
doing?
I'm good. A little disappointed, little let down, I should say, but you know, we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But man, awesome weekend. It was not raining out here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Let's go, y'all.
It was fucking 90 degrees. Not so
Jesus.
good, y'all.
Yeah.
That one right there. But man, interesting weekend, awesome weekend of sports.
Baseball's back. Love it.
Baseball is back. We're really it's just weird because usually at this point we're winding down spring training. I feel like we're in the middle of it.
We are.
It's just a weird.
And we still have
time.
moves happening,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
We still have free agents unsigned.
Yep.
You know, it's insane, dude. Insane. We're gonna definitely talk about over unders this week. We're gonna preview the AL and NL this week. Last week we did the NL AL Central. So if you are a AL NL Central fan, make sure to go back. You can hit our podcast up. taproomsportspodcast.com. You can get the YouTube video. You can, if you want to see our beautiful faces.
Let's go, y'all.
Or if
Damn
you
straight.
don't want to see our beautiful faces and you're offended by our beautiful faces, well, then you can you can listen to the audio, and that's okay. Because I definitely, I have the face of someone that should be on radio.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
You know what I mean? So
I'm with you there.
It
You
is
definitely have a
what
radio face.
it is what it is. I'm not mad about it. But man, excited to be here, Ben. And of course, I am drinking some good beer tonight as well.
Hell yeah. So for everybody out there who has not seen us live on the podcast or hasn't listened yet, we wanted to really have a basis of this podcast being like we were sitting at a bar, sitting at a brewery, drinking beer and talking sports.
Yep.
So we really wanted to incorporate that into the podcast. So we are going to be drinking beer and reviewing beers as we're going through, the different sports of the week. So we're going to drink 2 different beers. We are going to be having some Tavour beers. We're going to have some local beers. And if you are looking for great craft beer, make sure to go to Tavour.com. Use promo code Taproom and get $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more.
Yep.
Ton of great beers on there. I've got just got a shipment in and already building my box for next month. So
Yes.
looking forward to some great beers coming from all throughout the United States there. So definitely go check that out and get your free beer there. But tonight I'm going local. So
Nice.
my beers tonight will be local ones. But we're gonna at least announce our beers first, and then we'll go into a review at the end of the podcast.
Yep.
So Jordan, what is your first beer of the night?
So I was going to go with 2 beers from the same brewery, but I changed it up last minute. And I'm going to do one from this brewing company, which is Abnormal Brewing Company.
Okay.
I've had a couple of their beers on our podcast before. They're out of San Diego, California. So, kind of a neighbor to Las Vegas, but Abnormal makes some, like, they're a high quality brewery, and this is a German style Pilsner. And
Wait, did you just say San Diego is your neighbor in Vegas?
I mean, kind of. They're only like 4 hours away.
Only 4 hours. Okay.
Well, I mean, dude, we're in Vegas, bro. There's nothing next to us.
That's
Like,
true.
what's our neighbor?
Yeah.
The fucking Mojave Desert?
Henderson,
You know what I mean?
yeah, even Reno's really damn far away.
Yeah,
so,
Reno's further away than San Diego and LA. But if you can see the
Yeah.
can, it's German
cool.
style Pilsner. So obviously I love Pilsner, so I'm very much looking forward to this. Had a couple sips already. The head was like exactly like you wanted. It was a nice head to the pour.
Mhm.
The color is fucking golden crisp.
Crystal
Look at,
clear,
you can see
yeah.
my face through it, dude.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah, that radio mug.
at that. But nah, man, very much looking forward to this one, man. What are you sipping on?
So I'm doing a local beer. This is out of Concord, California. So North Bay for me. And this is from Epidemic Ales. And this is Limelight. So this is a lager with lime and salt. And they say to pair it with tacos. So I definitely am going to be pairing this with tacos on our hot summer day. It's a 4.5%, really cool can art too. Reminds almost that same logo of Limelight when we were
Yeah.
downloading pirated
yeah.
music off of there. So 4.5%. You can definitely drink this crystal clear as well. Got it's cold, so got the frosty mug there. But just overall from that initial pour, it's very limey. So great smell to it, and it definitely has that lager beer smell to it as well. So looking forward to drinking this beer. I haven't taken a sip yet, but I'm a little worried that it's going to be overly limey, overly salty. So hopefully it does pull in a good balance of of the beer to almost margarita-ish taste to it.
Damn, beer margarita. That sounds
See?
like a good
Well,
time to me.
Beerita is quality. So
Sounds like a good time to me, baby.
there we go.
Let's go, y'all.
There we go.
All right, let's hop into the sports spin. Why don't we? So obviously we had the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 this week.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. Kind of a disappointing weekend. The Elite 8 was fucking boring. It was like one of the worst Elite 8s that I can remember. There was really no close games. And it was kind of like the antithesis
There we go.
of what's been going on throughout the entire tournament. Like, the tournament's been wild, dude. Like, my bracket is literally in shambles. This is the first time since I started making a bracket every year in middle school that I have 0 Final Four teams remaining in the Final Four. I usually always have at least one team make it to the Final Four. This year, 0, nada, zilch. Like, it's a wrap.
That is one big pile of shit.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And I mean, it's been a crazy year. And then we get to the Elite 8. We get Miami versus Kansas. Kansas just fucking blows the doors off of Miami in the second half. We get Nova, Houston, which was a good game. It was probably the best game, but
I'd say so.
Really, Houston was, they got within a possession at one point, but they ended up losing by 6. Then we had Duke, Arkansas. Arkansas actually pulled within 9 points with 57 seconds to play, and for some reason they didn't foul, even though Duke was on a 1-on-1. Just a mind-blowing game. The Coach K story continues. Just a weird Elite 8, dude. Just show
St. Peter's. Ooh.
St. Peter's making it was awesome, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
I'm surprised that they got there. I'm actually really fucking pissed off because not an hour before that game, where they were playing Purdue, I almost, sent you over, cash apped you to, being in Vegas, cash apped you to put money down on that plus 680. But should have done it. Didn't, was busy during that time. And just as that like huge underdog, you might as well take it. And man,
well, I mean,
that
it's
would've
not the
been,
best odds, but I
no,
mean, it's
not the
great
best odds at all,
odds,
but
but
yeah,
there's a
but-
reason why they're great odds.
Yep.
I mean, that
And
game was
to pull that out was
the Purdue
crazy.
St. Peter's matchup to me was like crazy because like Purdue really thrives with their bigs, and St. Peter's is like a smaller team.
Yeah.
And like I said this last week, Ben. When you get into a dogfight with an under and you're a higher seed and you have a lower seed playing against you, like the pressure is on you, and like it was clearly on Purdue. Like they just played scared, dude. You know what I mean? Down the stretch,
and with young kids, it's gonna show. It's gonna.
Well, I mean, but it was crazy because like at one point they were up by like 6. And then St. Peter's goes on like an 8-0 run. Like they could just never sustain a lead in that game. And once it got down to like the final 5 minutes and St. Peter's was still in striking distance, I was like, damn, this is gonna get nasty because Purdue is like struggling. But St. Peter's train came to an end, and I kind of knew it was going to. I hammered UNC. That was the only bet I fucking won in the last like 5 bets, dude. Fucking
yikes,
bro. The first time in the history of my life I've seen the public win for like an entire weekend, dude. Like 80% of the public was on Duke, and Duke wins. 80% or they cover too. Like it was just all weekend, dude. Like just I thought Arkansas was going to put up a better fight. They knocked off Gonzaga, who was like my national champion. And it was frustrating to watch the Duke game because I was like, dude, Duke is doing exactly what Zaga should have done. Like they kept getting switches onto their bigs, like Paulo Banchero, and then he was able to find shooters. And like Zaga, like I don't know what the fuck they were doing, dude. They looked like they were playing scared that night. But what's your thoughts on the tourney so far?
I mean, as a casual college basketball fan, this tournament's been great. Like you said, up until this last weekend, and the Elite 8 games were just not fun to watch. I mean, you go from, that Nova Houston game with 94 points, and it was just a struggle. And that's part of the reason why I
mean, those are two good
yes, it was
teams, though.
Defensively, it was a great game. But as a casual fan, that's not what I'm really looking for. And then you go over to the other side where you have the blowouts in the St. Peter's, North Carolina game, the blowout in Kansas, Miami game. Like the Kansas, Miami game was the most fun for me to watch. But, at a point, it was just like, okay,
until the second half, dude, that shit was fucking ugly, dude.
Yeah. And it's just, it really kind of toned down everything else that had been happening in this tournament. So and then you've got kind of, I guess not necessarily chalk in the East because Arizona's out, but that Villanova Kansas game, it's going to be a great game, but it doesn't have any big storyline. The Duke North Carolina game is going to be great to watch because it does have that history, and it does have that big North Carolina win a few weeks ago. So
I disagree in the sense that like Villanova is like a top 10 like blue blood college basketball program. Like they're one of the biggest programs out of the East Coast. So I mean the storylines are there. I just think it sucks because Justin Moore, he tore his Achilles in the last game at the end against Houston, and he's not going to be able to play this game. So I mean that's a big piece that they're missing.
Yeah.
And Kansas is playing well though. I mean like Remy Martin has really stepped up. He's a dude that he led the Pac-12 in scoring a year ago, transfers to Kansas this year, and is averaging only 9 points per game. So it's like now he's finally like playing like the way. I mean, it looks like Kansas literally been saving him for the entire season, and now they just are like, all right, we're relinquishing Remy Martin. So it's been a nice story for the tournament. I mean, obviously, I just don't think Villanova has enough. And then obviously on the Duke North Carolina side, the first time in the history of those two programs they're meeting in the NCAA tournament, which is fucking wild to think about because both those teams are basically in the tourney every fucking year.
Yep.
And they make fucking deep runs too. But fuck, dude, like I don't want like I'm tired of the like this coach case. Like, dude, North Carolina got to finish this shit, dog. Like,
Well, what they went.
I don't need a championship game where 2 hours up till tip off, all we fucking hear about is fucking Coach K.
Yeah. Well, and North Carolina won what, 21 points?
Yeah, they blew them out of the water, and really, I mean, North Carolina. I'm not gonna lie, dude. The first half against Baylor, actually, the first like 2.5, like basically the first 2/3 of that game until Brady Manick got ejected. They looked like the best team in the country. I mean, they were blowing the fucking doors off of Baylor, dude. And Baylor That's why I picked North Carolina to win by more than 8.5 points. They covered the 8.5 against St. Peter's because Baylor is St. Peter's on steroids. Like, that's the way they play. And so I was like, oh, dude, North Carolina handled Baylor. Like, they're going to beat the fucking shit out of St. Peter's. And, you know, they did. And North Carolina, they could beat Duke.
Oh,
They've done it. They did it at Duke. And they're hot right now, dude. And Caleb Love is playing very well. Leaky Black is playing well. Baycott's playing very well. But on the flip side, Duke is playing very well, too. And Duke is very talented. Like, we saw it last game. Paula Banchero struggled, who's their best player. He's a freshman. A.J. Griffin, another freshman, stepped up. 6 for 7 from the floor, 18 points. I mean, that's why they dominated Arkansas, who dominated, and I shouldn't say they dominated Gonzaga, but they beat Gonzaga, who I thought was the best team in the country. So UNC Duke will definitely be the best game of the weekend for sure. I think the winner of that game probably wins the national championship. Yeah.
All right, so Duke, North Carolina, who do you got?
I'm going to take North Carolina, dude. I think they're playing the best basketball right now, and I do think that at some point Duke's inexperience is going to rear its head, and I think it's going to be like Arkansas just didn't have enough talent, dude. Like, they were just out talented. Like, Duke shut down Note, and like nobody else could get going. But North Carolina is talented. Like, they got talented players. So give me the Heels. I'm definitely taking the plus 4.5. I like the over in this game too, over 151. But I'm gonna take the Heels to win outright too. I think the Tar Heels are gonna. I think they're gonna end Coach K's. It's only fitting, dude. It's only fitting that North Carolina really ends it, dude.
Yep. All right, and then on the other side we got Villanova, Kansas. Who do you got going there?
I got Kansas just because Villanova's losing Justin Moore. Maybe they can garner up enough, energy or support that they can like pull a win like this out. And they very well could, dude. Villanova is a great defensive team, and I've said this time and time again. Jay Wright is the best coach in basketball, not just college basketball. He's the best coach in basketball. And so, like, you can never count Villanova out. I would probably take the points with Villanova, but I think Kansas is going to win the game, unfortunately. Remy Martin's playing well. Abaji in the running for National Player of the Year. McCormick. I mean, there's a very well-balanced team, Lightfoot. So I think Kansas is going to pull it out, but I think it's going to be close.
Okay.
And then we'll obviously preview the championship game next Sunday, so you're definitely going to want to tap into that because next Sunday we'll be talking national championship preview.
Yep. There we go.
Who do you got in the games, Ben?
I don't think there's any difference between what what you're looking at and what I am. North Carolina, I think 21 points is too big of a deficit from their last game to come back from. North Carolina puts in that effort against Duke. So I think it's going to be a closer game than the 21, but I think North Carolina is still going to take this. And I mean, I think you're right with the injuries of Villanova. I think if that injury wasn't present, I think Nova would take it over Kansas, but because of the torn Achilles, you got to go with Kansas on this one.
Yep. I agree. Before we move on though, real quick, just a little tidbit. Last 4 national champions were they went undefeated against the spread the whole tournament. There's only 2 teams standing that are undefeated against the spread, and that's North Carolina and Duke. So one of them will not be undefeated against the spread.
Interesting. Okay.
So based on that, winner of Duke, North Carolina may be the national champion.
Yep. Definitely might happen.
I like I said, dude, I definitely probably think that winner of those teams might be.
Takes it.
I don't know, dude. This has been a weird fucking tournament, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever you think is going to happen, just take the opposite, and that's basically what's been happening.
Yeah. That's true.
It's been insane.
Except this last week. Yeah, or weekend.
I mean, it was a lot of underdogs, like Villanova was an underdog, and they basically, like, I didn't expect Villanova to, like, dominate Houston like that. Like, I thought if anyone was going to dominate anyone, it was going to be Houston, because Houston is, like, ferocious defensively and athletic and long and stuff. But it's an interesting game. But let's move on to our MLB.
Let's go, y'all.
Preview. So last week we talked AL, NL Central, as I talked about earlier in the show. So if you want to listen to that, go back, taproomsportspodcast.com, tap into that one. Let's start with the AL East, though. Ben, you want to go bottom up again like we did last time?
I like that.
All right, so we're going to start with the Baltimore Orioles. Over, under 61 and a half or 69 and a half wins. I have 69. Is it 61 and a half?
61 and a half.
Were these like updated?
Yeah. These are to the moment.
Oh shit, I actually put 69 and a half. All right, Baltimore 61 and a half wins. Over, under, what do you think?
I am going under here. I don't see where they're getting nine more wins coming from. I think you've got Adley Rutschman coming in, which is going to be a awesome prospect to kind of come into Baltimore and really kind of make a mark.
Well, they have 5 top 100 prospects, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
Grayson Rodriguez should crack their opening day roster too.
I don't think he'll be on the opening day roster.
He'll definitely pitch this year.
Yeah, he will. But I just see the struggle is in pitching and in hitting, offense and defense, for this team. So I just don't understand how they're going to again gain those 9 games, especially in the division that they're in. So, I'm stoked to see Rutschman. I think with the biggest offseason move of Robinson Chirinos, that's not
Jordan Lyles too.
So
I mean, this was like one of the worst pitching teams last year.
It's true. It's very true.
And I definitely don't think I think they upgraded from their pitching staff. I'm not going to lie. Like, their pitching staff was so bad last year. I mean, there's really only one way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you. I do think that they're going to go under. I mean, John Means is still a solid pitcher. He could very well get traded, though. So could Jordan Lyles if he's pitching well. Trade deadline, he could get fucking traded. I mean, it's an interesting scenario because they do have so many young players, dude. And really, like, anything could happen when that happens, dude. Like Jorge Mateo, who was once a high prospect in both the Yankees and A's organization. Jahmai Jones was a high prospect in the Angels organization. They got Gunnar Henderson, who's a top prospect in their organization. They got Adley Rutschman, who's one of the top prospects in baseball.
Number 2, yeah.
Grayson Rodriguez, who's going to be a hell of a player. And that's kind of where the Orioles are, though. They're not playing for this year, obviously. Like, they got a lot of guys coming up in their pipeline. It's just hard for me to go under 61 and a half games, dude. Like, that's a lot of fucking losses. And I do think that they're going to be better than last year. I'm gonna be
9 games better, though?
I'm going to be optimistic, Ben. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go over 61 and a half. I don't love it. I definitely would not play it. But it's just so hard to believe that a team's going to lose that many games and go under 61 and a half. And this is a better division.
Last year.
They did only win 52, but they've upgraded. 9 games, maybe.
9 games?
I don't know.
Especially
what if
with
Adley Rutschman comes in and he rakes like we all think he can?
That's not
Cedric
enough.
Mullins
That's not
well.
enough to win games. Maybe that gives you 4 games.
But really, I mean, their pitching was so dog shit last year. Is their pitching staff better this year? Yes, for sure, it's better this year. I mean, you're also banking on health, that John Means doesn't get hurt. Because I mean, when he was healthy,
Means doesn't get hurt. That Rutschman doesn't hurt his shoulder again. Like, there's a lot of question marks in this, and I don't see 9 games in this division. I only see one other team going down. So,
oh man, I gotta say, I'm gonna be optimistic because I'm a closet Orioles fan, if y'all don't know by now. So
I just like their logo.
I love their ballpark, dude. One of the nicest ballparks I've ever been to.
Yep.
Shout out to Baltimore, a great city, by the way. Great city. All right, let's hop into the next team. 89.5 for Tampa Bay, Ben. This would be a step down from last year. A big step down. 12 game step down. 11 and a half.
Next one up is Baltimore. Or sorry, is Boston. 85 and a half.
Oh, it is 85. Damn, I didn't get in on the graphic. I forgot it. That's why. Boston, 85 and a half.
Struggling over here.
Dude, I messed up. Boston, 85 and a half games.
Yep.
I told you I was going to mess up on something, dude. I told you. I was like, bro, I'm going to mess up on something. This is what happens when you're producer/host.
Does too much.
It's all right. Boston over under 85 and a half. I think this is pretty low. What do you think?
I think this is low. I'm going to put this as over. They destroyed this number last year by 7 games. And I see this being really a stand pat team for Boston this year. So I'm going to go over here. I think they're going to be closer to that 90 wins of the season. I really do like Milton Bradley to, as old as he is, as much as a depth move that this is, it gives them more kind of outfielder awareness.
That was
and
Jackie
he still
Bradley
does have
Jr., Malcolm Bradley.
Or sorry, sorry, Jackie Bradley Jr.
He's been retired for a minute.
Yeah, I just always love that name.
It was a great name.
Yeah. So like he's got the speed out there. He's gonna be, he's gonna boost that outfield, and he's gonna be good in the in the clubhouse. I think that's a decent enough replacement for Schwarber, at least with the bat as well, that it isn't going to kind of cause him any issues. I really liked what Devers did last year, and see him as just kind of excelling even more. I don't know if he's going to excel even more or just keep up the high numbers that he did last year. 38 home runs, 113 RBIs. And it's just, he's built for Fenway, and this is a great kind of ballpark for him to play in. So I'm going to give them as an over on the 85 and a half.
Interesting.
Big question is going to be Chris Sale.
Yeah, I mean, their pitching staff, like, they lost Eduardo Rodriguez, who was one of their starters. Nate Eovaldi obviously was good last year. He's going to be only a year older now, and Sale's only getting older. And he, lightweight returned last year, but he wasn't great. Yeah. And then you lose Hunter Renfroe, who hit 31 bombs for you. You lose Kyle Schwarber, who's a power bat in that lineup. Obviously, you add Trevor Story, right?
Forgot about Story. Oh,
but...
Yep. Big addition there.
I mean, I think they're going to finish third in this division. I think it's perfect, or fourth in this division. I think 85 and a half is about right, but I'm going to go under 85 and a half. I think they're going to be about 81 wins, Ben. I just don't think they have enough pitching, bro.
Okay. I think they'll surpass still. There's a lot of shitty teams in the AL. So
that's true. And if they get anything out of James Paxton or Rich Hill, that's always a plus. Same with Michael Wacha. I mean, they signed a lot of dudes that are washed to 1-year contracts, hoping that they can get something out of them. So I don't know, dude. I just don't see their rotation being good. I think it's ultimately going to hurt them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go under. And then let's move on to Tampa Bay, over under 89 and a half wins, Ben.
I'm going to go over here. I really like what they what they have in Wander Franco. Being a young kid who came out of the gate really hot last year. And I'm a little worried about his contract. Giving him that long-term deal off of the few games that he played last year, but you definitely have to lock up a player like him. So it's a lot of money for a rookie, but we'll see how well it pays off for Tampa Bay. And if they can even retain him with all of their financial issues, is going to be a question mark there.
Man, they got no financial issues. That's a false narrative.
It's just that their owner doesn't want to pay anything. So
same with the A's owning.
That's true.
Struggle out here, bro.
It's going to be interesting to to see what Tyler Glasnow comes back to after his Tommy John, but
yep.
he's still a great pitcher. Hopefully he just won't be too fatigued, or as things grow throughout the season, he'll get stronger and stronger and go deeper and deeper. Um, Adding Kluber, I think, was a good thing for their rotation. So I'm gonna push the over here.
Yeah, I like the over as well, 89.5, because you're telling me they're 11.5 games worse than last year. I don't know. They definitely didn't add anything of like significance that like we know what they're gonna do. Like, yeah, they add Kluber, but Kluber was hurt last year, so it's like, how much are they gonna get out of Kluber at this point? But then they're really relying on guys like Shane Baz, who's a top prospect, to come in and play well. Shane McClanahan, who was a top prospect last year, now he's in the majors. Can he take that next step? Brendan McKay, who was at one point a top prospect, like, can he do anything? So I think that Tampa's really relying on their farm system, but they rely on their farm system every year, dude, and they do good. They're like the A's. They're like the A's, man, like where you can never count them out in Cleveland because they always just bring guys up that can produce. So I'm not going to count Tampa Bay out. I do believe in like their scouting and their development, so I do think that they're going to go over 89.5 wins. And I actually have them finishing second in this division. I do have a team that we're going to talk about soon that I do believe is going to go under. But let's hop into the next team. So you're going over Tampa as well, Ben, right?
Yeah, over Tampa. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the Toronto Blue Jays. 91.5 wins, over under, Ben.
I think this could potentially be the top team in the division.
Correct.
I think losing Simeon is going to be difficult, but adding Chapman is kind of
it's a defensive upgrade.
Yeah, defensive upgrade, yes. Offensively, I think it's going to be a little bit of a downgrade there, but I think this is the top infield in baseball.
Yep.
You've got Bichette, you've got Biggio, you've got Vlad, and Chapman.
Yep.
So, like, this could be one of the best infields in baseball.
And
I think the addition.
And you signed Kevin Gausman.
Yep, the addition of Gausman is going to be huge if he can pitch like he did last year. That adds a huge threat. To their starting rotation. So I think this is going to be big. I really do want to see Bichette get back to where he was, I'd say about 2 years ago. Solid last year, but I think he played a lot better, previously, at least offensively. So I think he can have a huge season here. And just to pair that with Vlad, what they already have, and then, adding the bat of Chapman and the defense of Chapman, I think this is a top team in baseball.
Yeah, I do think that they're going to be one of the better teams. The only thing I do think that is a weakness of theirs is their starting rotation, even though they did add Gausman. Because, I mean, last year they had Robbie Ray, who was a Cy Young candidate, really.
Yeah. Barrios is going to...
Barrios back too.
Yeah.
But, like you said, Gausman, I don't think necessarily has to be, like, as good as he was last year. I just think he needs to eat innings, dude, because he's going to be behind a lot better offense.
Yep.
So he just really needs to be above average and eat innings. That's what they're going to need. But yeah, man, like you said, dude, the offense is going to be ridiculous. Matt Chapman is coming off 2 bad seasons, but he's not going to be asked to be the second best hitter in that lineup. So he's going to have plenty of protection in that lineup, which I think is only going to benefit him. So I love Toronto over 91.5. I definitely think they're going to win this division. I also think they're going to make a move for another arm at some point during the season.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely see that.
All right,
and I think that's all that they'll need.
Yeah, no, that's like their only weakness, really. I mean, you could probably add a outfield spot, but really you can platoon outfield guys, dude, and be fine as long as they're decent defenders.
Or have speed. Yeah,
exactly. All right, what's your thoughts on the Yankees over under 92.5 wins, Ben?
I'm going to go under here. I think this team declined, and I think we still have the same issues with, the team as we did last year, and that's the lack of depth of pitching. And I think that's a huge question mark on Cole of how he's going to return without the sticky stuff. And
it's only a year older too.
Exactly. He's a year older. He struggled late in the season last year. And, he other than that, who else do the Yankees have in their starting rotation?
Not a whole
It's
lot.
not much. They lost Voit. They lost Urshela. Those are two bats that hurt. I think with your biggest addition of Josh Donaldson in your offseason, you didn't address much.
Yep.
And yes, he's a clubhouse feature, but how much is he going to do? He has a history with the Yankees too, so there's going to be a little bit of feeling out period too, which could cause issues in that clubhouse. So I just don't think they needed to. I don't think they improved on what they needed enough to be a top team in this division. I have them fighting between third and fourth.
I mean, I think they're gonna be I think they're gonna be in the playoffs, dude. Because I mean they have a nice offense when healthy with like Aaron Judge, Joey Gallo, Giancarlo Stanton, Rizzo, LeMahieu. I just think they're like an older team, a very veteran laden team. Obviously, Josh Donaldson's almost 40, 36 years old. I shouldn't say almost 40 because that would put me at almost 40, and I don't want to talk about all that. But yeah, man, I mean, like, I think that they can be a nice offense, but they have like a lot of question marks around health, dude. Like, are these guys going to be able to play an entire season? Because we haven't really seen it lately, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're gonna handicap in, average games played and stuff, I think you have to take the under here. I think they're gonna make the playoffs, dude. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they won 90 games. But I think Toronto is the best team in this division. Like, to me, it's like not a no-brainer, dude, which probably means that they're going to finish last, but
yeah.
That is one big pile of shit.
Facts.
But who knows? I like the under with the Yankees as well. Like, I am with you 100% on the under.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorite bets so far of the over-unders we've done is probably Yankees under 92.5 wins.
Okay.
All right, let's hop on over to the NL East, which I also missed a team on. On the graphic, I forgot the Washington Nationals.
Whoosh.
I know, dude.
Jeez.
Hey, come on, man. I'm out here trying my best. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize.
I'm Mr. Perfect,
So let's start with Washington. Over under 71.5 wins, Ben.
I'm gonna go over. I think this is probably my favorite bet of the East. And yeah, I don't see this as being the basement of the NL East, which a lot of people are kind of projecting them to be. I mean, I think the additions of Josh Bell and Schwarber are two great offensive
last year.
At the end of the season, yeah.
Oh, he played like the whole year. He had a decent year.
Huh. Okay.
They were hurt a lot last year. A lot of Washington players were hurt. And then they traded Schwarber, obviously. They traded basically everybody.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is going to be a team that can progress through the program. I think Juan Soto is incredible and will be able to push this team into
and Nelson Cruz, one of the better teams. 41 years
Yeah.
old. And they can DH in the NL now as well.
Yeah. So I like what Washington has to offer. I'm going to put this as over. I think they can easily beat this 71 and a half.
Yeah, 71 and a half.
Yeah.
I think Washington's an interesting team in the fact that, like, Patrick Corbin is like a Cy Young. He's been in Cy Young runnings before. He can always pitch well. Josiah Gray is a former top prospect from the LA Dodgers when they got the Trey Turner trade. Like, if he pitches to how he could pitch, that's a great addition as well. Steven Strasburg, if he bounces back, I'm sorry. But again, like, we're relying on him to not get hurt. He's 33 years old now, so and he's been often injured his entire career. I think a lot of what Washington wants to do has to rely on what happens, and not necessarily what happens, but what happens with health, dude. And that's something that's tough to project, right? But if I'm going to project it, I'm definitely going to say Steven Strasburg is not going to pitch an entire season, right? And that's going to only damage their rotation. Then you're really relying on Josiah Gray to be that dude. And can he be that dude? Absolutely. I mean, he's a top prospect for a reason. And I do think that they have depth in their bullpen. So if they can shorten games and they have the offense to do so, you have Juan Soto, who's arguably the best hitter in all of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they could do that. I'm going to go under 71.5 wins here. Also wouldn't be shocked if Juan Soto gets traded. I wouldn't do it if I was Washington. I would try to bring people in, but
definitely not,
also would not be shocked.
Yeah.
Because nothing shocks me in baseball. Nothing.
It's true.
Absolutely nothing. So I'm gonna go under the 71.5. And then let's hop into the next team, Miami Marlins. I actually had it at 69.5, but it's 76.5. So I think that's after the recent addition.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the Marlins of Miami?
I'm gonna go under on this one. They're still just such a young team. I'm a little worried of where they're going with front office issues that we've seen. You don't have your owner bounce right before the season for nothing. So I'm a little worried about what's going on, around the players in this case. And I think that's going to really push into, what's happening on the field. And this, they're strong players are definitely they're young guys. And I just don't know if there's a good enough mix between veteran and young presence that is going to push this team over.
We'll see this. I mean, I actually like when I saw a 69.5, I loved it. I love the over there. 76.5, I also think they could go over there because they weren't a bad pitching staff last year. Like, they were one of the better pitching teams in the league. They had a 3.96 ERA. So, I mean, which was 6th in the NL. That's top half of the league. So, they're only going to get better there because all their dudes are young, too.
Yeah.
Like Sandy Leon. They obviously have looking for a huge bounce back from Jesus Luzardo, who's only 24 years old. And, like, he has stuff. He just got to figure it out, and he very well can. Trevor Rogers was a Cy Young candidate at one point last year. I mean, they have nice young pitching, dude. And these are guys that are only going to get better because they're young, dude. And with experience comes that shit. Comes greatness from pitchers.
Yeah.
And then you have Jazz Chisholm, Jose Devers, Joey Wendell, who was nice for the Rays last year, Jesus Aguilar. Like, I actually think that, and they bring in Jorge Soler. I like this team going over. I like it over 76.5. I like it over 69.5, dude.
I just see two giants in this division, which cause me worries.
See, but
for other teams getting that over.
I mean, I think this is a nice division because I think Philadelphia can be good. I think the Mets can be great, obviously.
Mets can be great.
But I think
the Braves
can be great too. But
yeah,
they obviously won the World Series.
I think they got better.
Arguably, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like, but I do think Miami is nicer than most people are going to give them credit for. And if they can pitch like how I think they can pitch, dude, it can be a good year for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean the over. Don't love it. I loved it at 69.5. Don't love it at 76.5. All right, let's hop into the next team, the Philadelphia Phillies, over under 82.5 wins.
This is the tough one for me. I think this is kind of right on point. I think they're third in this division. I think You've got a lot of old guys on that team that can push, but are they going to be able to push for long enough? Are we going to see
I think they upgraded for sure, though.
They did upgrade.
Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos.
Yeah. You've got a lot of old guys. Like,
I don't think they're necessarily that old. I think a lot of what the Phillies are going to rely on is their starting pitching staying healthy.
Yeah.
You know, like Zach Wheeler has to stay healthy. He was nice last year when he played.
Yeah.
Aaron Nola, he's only 28 years old. He's a good pitcher too. Kyle Gibson, they traded for from Texas. He was nice last year. Zach Eflin, he's good. So I think a lot of what they just really need their rotation to stay healthy, Ben. If their rotation stays healthy, they could arguably win this division. I think 82 and a half games is like perfect because we don't know if their rotation can stay healthy or consistent.
I'm excited to see Alec Boehm this year have a full season and see what he can really do with in between. Probably what Didi's going to lead off and then Harper will hit third.
Didi, Gene Segura. I mean, dude, they have a nice lineup. Nick Castellanos, Bryce Harper. That's the thing is like they have one of the nicest lineups in this division. Like I think they have a nicer lineup than the Braves. I'll take
Braves were missing a lot last year.
They were, but who's to say they're gonna like? They also had like career postseasons out of some guys too.
Yeah,
that never played that well. You know what I mean? So who's to say? Like we've seen this shit with the Giants in 2010, 2012, 2014. Like they get guys that catch fire in the postseason, then the next year they fucking stink it up.
It's true.
And Ozzy Albies was like an average fucking guy until the postseason last year. Austin Riley. I mean, they're young guys. They can be great. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you get Acuna back. He bounces back from his injury. Fucking sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Alex Dickerson's nice, but let's hop into the Mets first. So hold on. Phillies, you're going under 82?
I'll go over. I'm going over. I think this is right, though. Like, I think 82 and a half is
I think this whole division's pretty right. 89 and a half for the top team because this is a good division.
Yeah.
So let's hop into the next team. 89 and a half wins. Tied for first. New York Mets.
I'm going to go over. I think the Mets can actually win this division just from their pitching alone. You've got the bats there that, really, can push for, a good offense. But I think your starting pitching is incredible there. You get Scherzer, you got DeGrom. You've got now a ton of new players in there to provide for your bats with Marte, Kana, and Escobar. Like, I think they can definitely win this division here. And pitching was a big question mark last year. And I think
why was pitching a big question mark last year?
Because they were injured. There were issues throughout the whole season with their top pitching.
Yep.
So to bring in Schwarzer,
you think DeGrom's going to bounce back? And how many games do you expect him to start this year?
I don't know where he was at last year, but I'd put him at more than 15. I'd put him over 15 games.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
The one thing that worries me about DeGrom is like he just puts so much torque on his elbow, dude. Like it wouldn't shock me if he gets hurt because like he just throws so fucking hard. He's a great pitcher, dude. But he's 33 years old and like Ben, you get older, you don't recover the same.
Oh yeah. I think he still gets more than 15 starts though.
Was Scherzer 37? I mean, dude, and Scherzer like fucking dude, he looked like shit in the playoffs. Other than that one win.
Well, and then you add Bassett.
Bassett's nice, but coming off an injury too.
Carrasco, like they're top 4.
I mean, on paper, the Mets should be the best team in this division. I'm going 89 over 89.5 just because they should definitely. They added just so much, dude. Pete Alonso obviously back. Robinson Cano's back from his suspension. You bring in Matt Marcana as well. You bring in Starling Marte, who was super nice in the second half of last year.
Yep.
I mean, this is a good team, but it is a very much older team. I'm gonna go over 89.5 wins, but it also wouldn't shock me if this team like was hurt and fucking didn't even make the playoffs. Like, it would not shock me, dude. I'm gonna go 89.5 because I do think that they're deep enough, but like I said, it would not shock me if
on paper they should
easily go
this.
over 89.5.
Yeah,
easily. All right, let's talk about the next team. Over under 89.5 wins. Atlanta Braves coming off a World Series championship, and they lose Freddie Freeman.
They lose Freddie Freeman, but they get Matt Olson.
Yes.
So, and I think we can all say that as good of a clubhouse and player Freddie Freeman is, Matt Olson is an upgrade here.
Yes.
So I'm going to put them over 89.5. I think they do push better than what they did last year because they won't have the injury or suspension problems. You've got Albies, you've got Acuna, you've got who was the other guy who was suspended in and out last year? Soroka.
Yes, Soroka.
Yeah, you got him hopefully being in the lineup, and I think this is this is a top level team. We called it last year, and them winning the division. I think they're definitely going to be putting up a run with the Mets to win the division here. So I too am going to go over with the Braves. I think I think they can still push Riley to another level, at least during the regular season. Maybe not to the level that he was in the playoffs, but he can have a better, regular season than he did last year. So, I think this is going to be a strong team.
I'm going to go under just because I don't think that their starting rotation is that good.
Yeah, it's true.
They're very young. Ian Anderson's going to be in his second year. He's going to be better. Like, he might contend for a Cy Young if he stays healthy, but their bullpen is very deep. Kenley Jansen, adding him to an already deep bullpen. I think that could be. I think that could bode well in come playoff time. But really, they're just gonna want to get into the playoffs like they did last year.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a matter of them winning regular season games.
I think the problem with their rotation is just it's not deep.
It's not deep at all. Like, you have Ian Anderson, Fried,
Moulton,
and then
Morton, and that's it.
And Morton's like in his fucking that dude's like 50 now.
He's
like the new
39.
Jamie Moyer.
Yep, Morton's 39.
So it's like, what are you really gonna get out of Charlie Morton too? So
yeah,
I don't think that their starting rotation is like ultra deep. They're gonna really heavily rely on their offense to carry them through most of the season and their bullpen, which is cool, dude. If you can get into your bullpen early, like, that's nice. But you also don't want to blow your bullpen in throughout the course of the season.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go under 89.5. I do think it's about right. Like, I could see them winning 87 games and still getting in the playoffs. You know what I mean? 88 games. So I'm gonna go under 89.5. We go Mets over, Phillies over, Marlins like on the cusp, push slightly under, and then I think that the Nationals will be under.
Yeah.
We're about even. We about agree on most of these.
Yeah, not really.
Kinda.
Maybe half.
Kinda. All right, let's hop into some trivia, and then we'll come back in and then we'll talk about we got a lot more to talk about. Yeah, we got beer number 2. We got top 5 sports movies in tribute of the Oscars. So you definitely want to stay locked. And we got our best bets coming up. So definitely stay locked, stay loaded. Yeah. Stay tuned for this trivia because this trivia is a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing.
Cheers.
Yes. Welcome to Taproom Sports Trivia. I am your host, Jordan, Stacks on Stacks on Stacks, lads, and a contestant. Here with my other host and contestant, Mr. Big Ballin' Ben Larson. How's it going tonight, Ben?
Not bad, man. Ready to drink some beer. And hear that sound every time I answer a question wrong.
I think you'll get this, dude. I think you got this, dude.
We'll see.
I think you got
Definitely
this.
see.
So if you're new to the game show, this is how it works.
It's called Ben Drinks Beer.
Ben and I are going to ask each other questions. If the person answering the question gets it right, you will hear this sound. If they get it wrong, you will hear this sound. If they get it wrong, they will be taking a drink of beer. If they get it right, the person asking the question will be taking a sip of beer. So let's get started. Ben, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'll definitely go first.
Okay. You want to answer
start?
first?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'll answer first.
All right. Here we go. Leading it off. I'm going to start off easy.
Okay.
Right.
We'll go easy to start this. Okay.
Who is Major League Baseball's all-time leader in wins? Is it A, Roger Clemens, B, Nolan Ryan, C, Cy Young, or D, Steve Carlton?
Oh, man. I should know this. We're going to go with Clemens, the non-Hall of Famer.
That is incorrect, Ben. The correct answer is Cy Young with 511 wins.
Interesting. Okay.
You got to remember when Cy Young pitched, that was when dudes would pitch like every other day, and they would pitch 9 innings, so a lot more opportunities for wins back then.
Very true. All right. Well, that's not a good way to start, so cheers.
Roger Clemens is like 6th, by the way. 6th or 7th.
Okay.
354 wins.
All right. So, and I also have to say that tonight I am drinking an Anchor Brewing Company beer out of San Francisco, and this is called Little Weekend. It is it's a light American lager, golden lager, coming in at 3.9%. So really light because I knew I was going to be drinking a lot because trivia is not necessarily my jam. So we'll see how the rest of this goes, but we're drinking a light one for this.
Nice.
So,
nice.
All right. Easy question for you. 3 teams have won multiple Super Bowls in the 90s. Which team has won 3? Is it A, the Dallas Cowboys, B, the San Francisco 49ers, or C, the Denver Broncos?
It is A, the Dallas Cowboys.
That's right. Dallas had won 3, San Francisco won 2, and the Broncos won 2 as well.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, here we go. Ben drinks beer.
Ben drinks beer.
All right. Hit me with number 2.
All right. Question number 2. And I think this one's pretty easy, too, especially because if you've even watched a game in the NCAA tournament, they talk about it every fucking time. Which coach has the most tournament wins in NCAA history? Is it A, Roy Williams, B, Mike Krzyzewski, C, Dean Smith, or D, Jim Boeheim?
We're going to go with Coach K.
For bonus points, Ben, and I'll take another sip if you're correct, and you don't have to drink if you're wrong, but for
42
bonus.
seasons.
No. How many tournament wins does he have?
Oh, I don't know. 82.
Not far off. 101.
Okay.
101. Not far off.
Okay. All right. This is an odd one. Definitely had to get a couple odd ones in here because got to stump the Schwab here. All right. How many dimples does an average golf ball have?
What?
A, 225, B, 180, C, 336, or D, 440?
I mean, I have no fucking... Oh, man. I mean, a golf ball's pretty small, so I'm going to eliminate 440, and I'm going to go, like, in the middle. I'm going to say, what was the middle one? 3...
A is 225, B is 180, and C is 336.
I'm going to go 336.
Motherfuck.
Is that right? Holy shit, dude. That was just a lucky guess.
All right.
All right. Here's question number 3. Who leads the NBA in scoring this season? Is it A, LeBron James with 30 points per game, Oh shit! I just gave you the answer. Is it who leads the NBA in scoring this season? Is it A. LeBron James, B. Giannis Antetokounmpo, C. Joel Embiid, or D. Kevin Durant?
When I say Joel Embiid has the most points, but Durant or with
Yeah, this is points per game.
LeBron,
Sorry.
yeah, LeBron has the most points per game.
Yes, 30 points per game. LeBron James.
Take your
I
chance.
accidentally because I put the points per game next to them, and I actually fucking.
I drink a lot again, but that's well, I'll get better with my sports knowledge here. But it's time to get back to beer. We are going to go with beer number 2 on our list for the night. So Jordan, what is beer number 2 for you?
Beer number 2 for me tonight. Sorry, I was like in the middle of switching stuff. We're gonna go with this Pizza AleSmith collaboration with Pizza Port Brewing Company, both
Port.
out of San Diego. Yes, I love Pizza
Love
Port as
AleSmith
well.
too, yeah.
Both are good. This is the Beach Run double dry hopped West Coast style IPA with Enigma, Cashmere, and Sabro hops, man.
Sabro hops are good. Definitely getting a big push in the beer game right now. So
Yes, sir.
let's see how that is. You started with the pills. I'm gonna be ending with the pills, and I'm gonna go with Power Hour Pills, and this is from Central Coast Brewing. They are out of San Luis Obispo, and this is a 4.8%. So we're keeping it light tonight. Definitely keeping it light. Kind of moved into my summer beers where you want to drink more than one beer. You're gonna be drinking the light ones.
Let's go, y'all.
It's definitely that time of the year, Ben, for sure. It's also time of the year for the Oscars.
Yep.
It is better to die like a tiger than to live like a pussy.
And that's what we saw tonight at the
There
Oscars,
you
by
go.
the way. Something similar to that. I don't know if it was fake or not, Ben.
It was
But
fake.
you think so?
It was fake.
I mean it was
They're
it definitely
actors,
looked
bro.
like it because he walked up, and as he's walking back, he's like smirking, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
smiling and shit. And then they're actors, dude. It's like I was telling Shuri, I was like, dude, they're actors. Like,
They're actors. He would have been a hell of a lot more pissed if he got slapped in the face.
bro, that's what I'm saying, dude. If I got slapped, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
Yep. Yeah.
no, hell no. But interesting nonetheless. The Oscars, they've been kind of shitty the last few years. They were down like 10 million viewers last year. This will definitely get their ratings up. But in honor of the Oscars, Ben and I are going to give our top 5 sports movies of all time. So Ben, let's start it off. Go 5 to 1. 5 to 1. Lowest to highest.
5-1. All right. I have a tie for number 5 because I really couldn't. I needed to get a hockey movie on there. One of these is a incredible hockey movie. I think, for the common good, and one is just one of like literally my favorite hockey movie growing up. So I'm gonna do a tie for this, and that is gonna be between Slapshot and D2, the Mighty Ducks. I thought D2 was a hell of a lot better than the first one. So I'm gonna go with D2 on that, and that's gonna be my favorite, childhood movie. One of my favorite childhood sports movie. And Slapshot is it's a classic hockey movie. I mean,
Yes. Way before our time, though.
it was way before our time. Just Paul Newman was great. I mean, the Hanson brothers, it was
Great.
absolute quality.
If you have not seen Slapshot, you absolutely need to see Slapshot.
Yep. All right, number 4. This was a great movie in itself. Just kind of revolved around sports, so that's why it was at number 4. Definitely high on my list. This is gonna be Caddyshack. Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, Rodney Dangerfield, Ted Knight, like great cast here. It's hard to make a hockey or a golf movie, and they really kind of pushed the comedic aspect of this, and really did get a lot of golf into it. So we're gonna go with Caddyshack at number 4.
Nice.
Number 3, I'm gonna go with Field of Dreams. I think it's just a classic baseball movie that had to be on that list. Costner played a great Kinsella, and then you got Ray Liotta as Shoeless Joe. You've got James Earl Jones in there. It was just a great kind of historic baseball movie, and I had to put that one on the list. We were young when that one came out too. We were 3, so little pushback there. Number 2 is just going to be for the cast alone, and that is A League of Their Own. Another, again, baseball movie here, but women's baseball there. Gina Davis, Tom Hanks, Madonna, Laura Petty, Rosie, Megan Kavanaugh. Just
film.
an absolute crazy lineup. It's so many quotes come from that movie that you don't know are from that movie. And
Facts.
it's just a great sports comedy movie there. And then number 1 has to just be one of my personal favorites. I probably know every single line to this movie, just like I do with D2. I guess you could put Happy Gilmore on that list of ones I know, sports movies I know line by line. But this is going to be The Sandlot. Just that happy-go-lucky movie that has lasted
Forever.
for decades now. For decades. Came out in 93, and it's still a movie that young kids love to watch. Still a movie that I love to watch, and just kind of brings me back to those young days. So gotta go with Sandlot as number 1 sports movie.
Nice. We have a lot of the same movies. Well, not a lot, but we have some of the same movies in there. Number 5, I'm going Blue Chips.
Great movie. Yeah.
Just brings me back to my childhood. Nick Nolte and Shaq, Anthony Hardaway, just an awesome fucking movie. If you haven't seen it, it's a great look into like college recruiting, which I think like opens some eyes. The Program, which was also honorable mention on here, another one that's on the football side that I love about college football. Number 4, A League of Their Own. Like Ben said, like I actually remember going to the theater, and I was a young kid at this time, like 6, 7 years old. I remember my grandpa taking me to go see this movie, and I was like, wow, this is a great movie. Like I was entertained because the acting was so good, the story was so good, and I've watched it every year basically since I saw it in theaters. So I love A League of Their Own. Number 3 is gonna be The Sandlot. Obviously, very close to my heart. My childhood. It's a movie I watched over and over, which these top 3 basically are. And then number 2, The Mighty Ducks. And you could put Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and 3 in there. Like they both run deep for me. I watch them time and time again. And then number 1, White Men Can't Jump, dude, with Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. This is the 30th anniversary as well. Today marks the 30th anniversary when White Men Can't Jump was released. But just such an awesome movie, dude, and probably something I shouldn't have watched as a kid, but I did.
There were so many honorable mentions on my list too.
Yeah, dude, I could have made a top 15 to be honest.
Oh yeah, easy. And then I think was hard about this one because it was a lot of just how I felt about these movies, which was difficult.
I mean, dude,
All
there's no way to
movies, but
there's no way to like have a distinctive top 5. Like everybody's gonna be different because everybody likes different shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't put Above the Rim on here. I definitely could have put Above the Rim. I could have put He Got Game. Like there were so many movies I left off. The Big Green.
Yep. Rudy, Titans.
Rudy. Remember the Titans?
Friday Night Lights.
Dude. So many good movies. Friday Night Lights. That's another good one.
Yep.
Just an insane amount of good sports movies. The Natural, Hoosiers.
Yep.
Dude.
Ton of them.
Mr. Baseball.
Oh, minor league,
dude. Major league,
God.
dude. 1 and 2, bro.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's go, y'all.
So many movies.
It is better to die like a tiger than to live like a pussy.
I love that quote, dude. That's some of the greatest shit, dude. That's from another good sports movie, Ping Pong, or what was Ball of Fury, dude.
There we go. 42 could have been on there. Miracle.
42, Miracle. Oh my god, man.
I mean, I guess technically Karate Kid. I mean,
Put movies on there for days, man.
Yeah.
Movies for days. All right, let's hop into our 5-minute clinic. Oh, wrong song. Let's hop into our 5-minute clinic. This week we're gonna be talking about Tyreek Hill, Ben.
Yep.
And he got traded to the Miami Dolphins, if you're living under a rock and haven't been around with us. But very interesting, dude. Very interesting trade, dude. Like, nobody saw this coming, Ben.
No, not at all. Not at all.
What's your thoughts on first the trade, and then like what it really means for the AFC West going forward?
Yeah. For the trade, I mean, a decent haul for Tyreek. You know, I thought definitely one of the top 3 wide receivers, I'd say, in the league. And, you know, part of that is definitely coming with, you know, Mahomes as his QB, but definitely something that really shocked me, because that's what I thought Kansas City needed to add on, and was getting another top piece to complement Hill. And it just surprises me that they sent him away when he was such a big aspect of that offense, and it leaves a lot on Kelsey's shoulders.
Right.
So that I'm a little worried about. I do like the additions that they did bring in. I think you know, Valdez-Scantling can definitely, you know, bring a little bit of that speed back. You know, he can push the edge there. You're just gonna have to rely a lot on Juju, on Valdez-Scantling, and I don't think the two of them equal Tyreek Hill. So
no, they don't. But you know, they still have 15, and as long as 15 is there, it doesn't really matter. I do think that Valdez-Scantling, like, he's a fast, scatty type receiver. I do think that I'm not saying that he's gonna fill the void of Tyreek Hill, but I think wide receiver is one of those positions where it's like easier to replace production than it is from a quarterback per se. Like, I would much rather lose Tyreek Hill than I would rather lose Patrick Mahomes. And
Easily.
now they have more draft picks too, so they can trade up in the draft if they like a receiver. I also think a lot of there's a deep receiver draft. Like, Robinson from Alabama could fall to them. Trey Burks from Arkansas could fall to them. And Chris Olave from Ohio State, or Garrett Jones from Ohio State. Like, there's a lot of options for the Chiefs here. And I think this was like a nice time to trade him, because, bro, I'm sorry, but I can't pay Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill like $70 million combined. Like, I can't build a team like that. So if I'm going to lose one, I'm going to lose Tyreek Hill. And if I'm going to lose him, I might as well get something in return. And they got a lot for him.
They did. Yeah.
So I think, I honestly, I think Kansas City I think they like robbed Miami blind, dude, because Patrick Mahomes, 15, does not play for Miami. And fucking their quarterback can't throw that long. So I still think Kansas City is the favorite. Vegas still agrees with me. They still have Kansas City the favorite to win their division. So I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal for Kansas City, bro.
Yeah, if anything, it spreads that offense out a little bit more. But nobody is gonna have the speed as a cheetah. Nobody's gonna have his hands. But
maybe that's less teams that fucking throw 2 ultra deep safeties on them. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe it changes a lot. We'll see. We'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah. What it does to AFC West, I think it's a good shakeup for Kansas City there. I think, you know, with the way that, you know, that these teams are adding, I think you did need to change things up a little bit. You have to change that offense around to give a different kind of playbook for Kansas City to, you know, really, you know, push the pace, because I mean, you've got 3 great quarterbacks and a good quarterback. You've got great running on every team. You've got great receiving on every team. You know, I'd say 2 great tight ends in the division. So, I mean, this is a tough division. It's now the toughest division in football. And it's, you got to switch it up somewhere. So,
yeah. No, it's gonna be very, very, very tough. I mean, it's very tough division, dude. Like, regardless, but as long as you got 15, man,
Yep,
you're in good hands.
yeah, gotta see a big push from their running game.
Yeah,
That's no
I
question.
would say defense more than anything.
Yeah, is Tyrann Mathieu re-signing?
I mean, he's still a free agent.
I heard he was going to the Raiders.
I mean, the Raiders have been linked to a lot of people, but none of it's come through. So
It's true.
who really knows what's going on with the Raiders? To be honest, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because last week at this time we heard that Stephon Gilmore was going to sign with the Raiders. He still hasn't signed with anybody.
That's true.
Apparently, he wants like $14.5 million a year, and I just don't know if he's going to get that from anybody. So
yeah.
It's tough to say, but let's hop into Pour Me Another.
Yeah, so this is going to be the TMZ aspect of the podcast, and we've got four different items here this week that we're going to be going back and forth on. And the first one that we are going to start with is Shohei Ohtani. Right. He is basically had an MLB rule made for him and for him alone, and that's going to allow him to be a DH even if he is pulled as a pitcher. So do you think this is a move for baseball, or do you think this is a move for Ohtani?
No, I think it's a move for baseball because I think that, more players are going to come up pitching and hitting. How many? I don't know, because at the end of the day, like, Ohtani might not even finish the year as a pitcher and hitter, because we saw last year, like, they basically didn't even pitch in the last, month and a half of the season. And 162 games is a long fucking time, dude.
Sure.
And to stay healthy for that long as a hitter and a pitcher, I think is very difficult. But I do think that it opens a door if you do have future players like Ohtani. So interesting, dude. I don't think it's necessarily for Ohtani. I think it's for Ohtani now because they want to see him in the game the whole time. But like I said, dude, I just don't see him finishing another season. He hasn't done it yet. So why do I think he's going to do it this year?
Yeah. I think this was strictly made for Ohtani. I think this was a move from baseball to get him in the game. Actually, absolutely what you just said. But I don't think there is another pitcher in the college game or, in Japan that is really going to hit and pitch the way that Ohtani does. And I think they're trying to ride off the high that he brought last year. And
he really declined at the end of last year, though.
Directly there. So
he really declined last year, though.
At the end of the year, he did.
We're gonna get into next week with the AL NL West over under preview. So definitely tap into that. We got strong opinions about both those divisions.
Yep.
But let's hop into this next topic. So New York mayor has lifted the COVID mandate, vaccination mandate. So now Kyrie Irving is able to play. The New York Yankees are able to play home games. The ones, Garrett Cole, who aren't vaccinated.
Aaron Judge.
Oh, Aaron Judge too?
Yep.
Ah, interesting current events. Interesting. What's your thoughts on the COVID mandate being lifted in New York?
Yeah, I think there was definitely some money handed around for this. It's
politics, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a very interesting time that the Nets only have 8 more games left before the playoffs, and trying to get him into a little bit more of a.
The Nets don't have as much pull as the Yankees, though.
That's true. That's very true. But and same thing, the Yankees are going to need every single win, and if they weren't able to have a couple of their players playing at home, that would be a very tough way to get high in that division. So I think it was definitely a push from the owners to get this lifted, and the mayor bent it over. So
yeah, I think at some point the vaccine mandates were going to get lifted eventually once. Vaccination rates rose and natural immunity rose, like, all together. There was never going to be vaccine mandates forever, dude.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's really interesting that 3 days before this mandate was lifted, you have the mayor saying, well, the Nets and the Yankees are going to have to wait their turn. And then all of a sudden,
the
flip flop.
I mean, the Yankees have a lot of pull though, dude. And if
Sure.
if Aaron Judge isn't gonna be able to play home games and Garrett Cole, I mean, dude, they were doing whatever it took.
Yep.
Politics.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. All right, let's move into our next one, and this is from the UFC world. This was an interesting one. The other night we had Jorge Masvidal go after Cody Covington, coming out of a steakhouse, comes up in a surgical mask and hoodie and sucker punches Kobe and knocks out breaks half of his tooth. So I mean, what do you take from all of this?
Man, what I take from it, Ben, is that this man waited till after the fight to fight him.
Yeah.
I don't even know, man. Like, gotta come up and sucker punch, bro, while he's eating. I don't know, man. Masvidal, bro. I don't even know what to say, Ben. Like, I think he has lost his luster in the UFC and stuff, and like, I think losing the last 4 fights that he's fought.
Yeah.
I think like he got to stay relevant somehow, and here it is.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's interesting that this is supposedly coming after Colby Covington called Masvidal a deadbeat dad, and that's what is kind of pushing this whole outside of the ring thing.
That made him mad.
Yeah,
like it took all that. Like, why didn't he fucking do that in the ring though?
Yeah, I don't know.
He'd been talking shit to him for fucking months before they fought in the ring.
Yep. Yeah. And I think the funny thing is when you have Nate Diaz coming out saying that you need to stop getting arrested for stupid shit and acting like irresponsible animals, that's when you got to really worry, because Nate Diaz gets arrested for stupid shit and acts like an irresponsible animal. So
Hey, this right here for Masvidal.
That is one big pile of shit.
there we go. 100%.
All right. Ash Barty, women's #1 tennis player in the country, or in the world, I'm sorry, in the world,
Yeah.
from Australia, retires from tennis at the age of 26. What's your thoughts on this early retirement here, Ben?
I think there's got to be something going on in women's tennis that we aren't seeing and
what?
isn't being portrayed in the media.
What do you think?
Because when you have Osaka coming out saying that there's so many issues with mental health, and having her having to take a step back, and then now having Ash Barty retire at 26 when you're at the top of your game and young, there's got to be something going on that's really kind of pushing these girls into bad mental states.
I don't know. I think that when it comes to professional sports in general, like, you have to have a strong psyche to be a professional athlete, because you have people talking shit about you from all over, dude. And you could be like, yeah, it doesn't bother me, but for a lot of people in the world, like, it's easy to say like, oh yeah, that shouldn't bother you because you're a professional athlete. But for some people, like, dude, you could see a lot of shit and be like, yo, like, the fuck, like, I didn't do or say anything to any of these people. Like, media attention is a lot. And there's a docu-series on Netflix called Untold: The Breaking Point, and they have a dude on there that was a former professional tennis player, Marty Fish, and he really succumbed to the pressure. Like, he was supposed to be that next Pete Sampras. Like, that's what they were hyping him up to be in the media and stuff, and he never lived up to those expectations, because every time he hit the tennis court, he had that burden on his shoulders. Like, I got to be the next Pete Sampras, you know what I mean? And so, like, I just think that there's tough-minded people and there's not, and that's not a bad thing, dude. Like, we're all different, you know what I mean? But you have to have a tough psyche, dude. Michael Jordan, tough psyche. LeBron James, tough psyche. Giannis Antetokounmpo, tough psyche. I'm using basketball players because that's what I directly correlate with, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have a tough psyche to be a professional athlete, dude. And if you don't have it, it's okay. Maybe it's just not meant for you. And I get it, dude. And she could definitely bounce back, dude. You know what I mean? Like, she could come back at any time from tennis.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to my tennis players, especially women's tennis players. Y'all dope.
Damn straight.
All right, let's move on to our best bets of the night. Oh, hold up.
All right.
It's
we
that
go.
time of the night for our best bets of the night. Last week I went 0-2, Ben. I had Miami +1. The Heat, they didn't cover +1. Also, Joel Embiid and Harden were ruled out thereafter. They didn't cover any of the spreads all the way up to the closing line. Absolutely fucking big L. And I had Boston -12. Barely didn't cover. They lost by 11 or won by 11. So didn't get that one. And then you had Tampa Bay, Carolina _6. That was a W. And then you had Rangers over Devils, Flames over Sharks. That was an L. So what's your two best bets of the week, Ben?
All right, we are riding this Tampa Bay, Carolina under. Under
going
6.
For it again?
I'm going for it again. They play again on Tuesday, a week apart, and I think we're going to see the same score. It may be flipped, but I think we're still going to be sitting at 5 goals here. Again, just incredible offenses, but the defenses are very strong on both these teams. Both teams averaging under 2.75 goals a game, 2.37 for Carolina here. So we're going to stick with that under and really push for this to be a low scoring game again.
All right.
So I definitely like that one. And then we're going to go for another parlay here. We are going to go with the Flames over Montreal. Sorry, not the Flames. Excuse me. Florida, FLA, Florida over Montreal. Florida is just scoring at a goal and a half more goals per game than Montreal is, and averaging over about a goal and a half less goals allowed per game. So offensively and defensively, Florida is just absolutely night and day better than Montreal. You aren't going to get good money line odds there, so we're going to parlay this with the Nashville Predators over the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa just really struggles to put goals in the net, and I think that's going to continue really to kind of go throughout the rest of the season. They only have 12 games left, and I don't see them really winning more than maybe 4 of them. So this is another dismal season for Ottawa, and Nashville has really played out of their minds this year. It's been a complete turnaround from where they were previously. So I do see Nashville taking this W. So we're going to parlay Florida over Montreal and Nashville over Ottawa, and then we are going to run with the Carolina and Tampa Bay under.
Nice, man. I like it. All right, my first best bet, we're going to go Atlanta Hawks -7 on the road against the Indiana Pacers. And this is why. Both these teams fucking suck against the spread this year. Atlanta's been pretty bad against the spread, but Indiana has like a million people hurt. Like literally Malcolm Brogdon, Turner, McConnell, all out. Duarte out. Like every starter you can imagine for Indiana is out. And Atlanta is fighting for playoff position here. They're coming off a big win against Golden State, 121-110. So give me the Atlanta Hawks to cover this 7. And then we're going to go over 151 Duke, North Carolina Final Four, and lock this in now before it gets pushed higher, because I don't love it a lot higher. I think we got to get at 151 Duke, North Carolina. Both these teams score a fucking ton, dude. They're both top 20 in offensive efficiency in the country. Last 2 matchups this season, both games went over 150. Well, last game went over 170. So I like this over 151 here. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. 2 top-notch offenses, 2 good teams that know each other. Give me over 151 here.
There we go. All right. So that was the sport aspect of the podcast. We are going to move back to beers, and we are going to review our 4 beers of the podcast.
Let's go,
Jordan,
y'all.
you started with that Pilsner. I definitely want to hear how that was, because I ended with a Pilsner. So tell me about that.
That Pilsner was actually really fucking good, man. Like, I loved that Pilsner. It was delicious. It was crispy. It was everything you want from a Pilsner, to be honest. And I'm gonna give it a 4.45 out of 5. I would definitely drink it again, and I would buy it again. Pilsner. One of the better Pilsners I've had. Not the best, obviously, or else I would put it up there, but
I feel like I should say something smart.
you know, I feel like I should say something smart, but it's just a good Pilsner, dude.
Oh yeah.
Then my second one, the double dry hopped IPA from Pizza Port and AleSmith. This is a good one, dude. It's got some nice hoppiness to it. The aroma's nice. The color is very good. It's like golden. The one thing I don't like, dude, is like I don't like the aftertaste. You know what I mean?
Happens.
Like
Yeah.
it's a weird aftertaste, and I thought it might like chill out the more I drank it, but it didn't. It's like a very aggressive aftertaste, which I've never really gotten from an IPA like this, a West Coast style. So I'm gonna give this a 3.75 out of 5. I would drink it again. I would. I don't know if I'd buy it again. I would definitely drink it again. Like if it was on tap somewhere, like definitely try it on tap. It might be the difference in it, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
3.75 out of 5, man.
Okay. There we go. All right, so I'm going to start with my the first one that I had, which was the Epidemic Ales. This was the Limelight. This was the lager with lime and salt, and this one was good when it was really cold. But as it kind of warmed, it definitely the lime and the salt really kind of overpowered this beer, which I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I do want to drink it again on a really hot day and see how that really kind of affects the taste of being really crisp on a hot day. It's raining and kind of cold out here, so it definitely isn't the ideal time to be drinking this lager. So I'm going to give it a 3.75. It wasn't bad, it wasn't that great, and I do want to try this again. So I just hope that when it's hotter and you drink this beer faster, the warmth of the beer won't kind of get overpowered by the lime and salt. And the next we're going to go with the Power Hour. I keep on wanting to call it Powerhouse, but the Power Hour Pilsner. This was from Central Coast Brewing, and this was out of San Luis Obispo, coming in at 4.8%. This was a good Pilsner. I'm going to stay at that 3.75 level for both of my beers tonight. It was one that it was crisp. It was a little heavy, just in the kind of thickness. It wasn't the clearest and crispest Pilsner that I've had before. Great taste to it, and coming in at 4.8%. It's a beer that you can definitely drink multiple of. So it was good.
Good summer beer.
Wasn't my favorite. Yeah, great summer beers, but there's definitely Pilsners that are better than this one. So 3.75 on both counts.
Damn, Ben, not really feeling the local beer that much.
Yeah, not tonight.
Y'all
Tonight.
local brewers need to holler at him, get him some beer for him to try and give some good words on, huh?
Yeah. I mean, just tonight's were not my favorite, but I've had an Epidemic before, and they've got good beers. I've definitely had the Central Coast before, and they've got good beers
Central
there
Coast,
as well. So
yeah, for sure.
yeah, so just these two weren't necessarily my jam. Not bad, definitely not bad. Nothing close to a pour out beer. But there's just better beers of this type out there. So nothing bad there. But all right, that's the podcast, everybody. Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out our socials. Make sure to check us out on Instagram at Taproom Sports Podcast. You can check out our Twitter, which is at Taproom_sports. Or you can just check out Jordan's, which is at Jordan Rules TSP. We're starting to do TikTok too. So definitely search our TikToks, and we'll be getting some beer reviews. We'll be getting some sports aspects up there as well. Got to keep going out there.
Yes.
Make sure to check out www.taproomsportspodcast.com, and you'll be able to find all of our info there, which is definitely a fun site to go to. Make sure to check out APR on Thursdays, as Jordan is joined by Steady Eddie Martin, or Raider Eddie, or Do-Rag Eddie, whichever the week may be. Yeah,
whatever
whichever
Eddie,
the
his
week
nickname
may,
is, that is.
be. They are going to be talking USFL during this offseason. And then once we get close to the league, we're going to be starting our regular APR show, going over the reviews of the divisions, as well as moving into reviewing every single NFL game of the week. Make sure to check out.
Coming up too.
What's that?
TSP Wagers.
TSP
MLB.
Wagers. Yes, I cannot wait.
They crushed Major League Baseball last year.
Yep. Make sure to check out TSP Wagers, where Jordan and I build some bets from 2 games, for the upcoming day. Those will be coming out baseball only once the season starts. We're going to be ending basketball and hockey and moving into baseball. I cannot wait for baseball to start.
Yes.
And we're going to be making a lot of money. Ton of money for everybody out there.
Yes.
Make sure to check out Biscuits and Barrels. It got delayed a week because our 90-second beer review guys had some beer stuff to do. Yeah, they had a ton of beer stuff this weekend. So we pushed that back another week. So we'll be reviewing the trade deadline. We'll be reviewing the last month of the season, and seeing where we go into the playoffs.
Hell yeah.
So make sure to check out Biscuits and Barrels coming up, not this upcoming week, but the following week. But that's it. Oh, and Jordan's got In the Game too. Man, so many podcasts here. Make sure to check out Jordan's In the Game, where he has a guest come in and talk sports with them.
Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun to listen to that podcast, even though I'm not a part of it. So definitely getting some great sports knowledge out of that. So I'm loving that podcast. But that's it. I'm Big Ball and Ben Larson, here with Jordan Stacks on Stacks on Stacks Lats.
That's right.
We will see you next week. Cheers.
Toodles.